Oh my God, you guys, come and sit down and shut the door. Maureen Comey is suing. What does this mean for Diddy? Well, baby, my guess is it ain't good. Let's sit down and talk about this. If you guys don't know, Maureen Comey during that trial literally was my spirit animal. She argued her heart out. She understood what was at stake. Now listen, y'all know, let's talk facts, okay? Y'all already know I feel like the jury got it wrong, but the fact is they still convicted Diddy of two very serious crimes. And as much as the Diddy midget mad brigade don't like it, as much as they don't like it, Diddy is facing serious time. Now, you know his team will say, oh, he's only looking at 21 months. Sir, if he was only looking at 21 months, Mr. Agnophilio, Diddy wouldn't have y'all in there every third Thursday arguing that I don't like it, the MDC, there's maggots in the food, let me out. He wouldn't have Nicole Westmoreland up there talking about we're actively pursuing a pardon. If y'all thought this man was truly just going to get out on time served, he wouldn't have y'all windmilling and have his appeal lawyers on deck trying to see what that thing do. He wouldn't have it. Again, propaganda I'm not falling for. That Diddy just thinks this is going to be a walk in the park. Now, why is this so important? What does it have to do with Maureen Comey suing? Well, Maureen Comey is suing the Department of Justice, the current administration's appointee. She's suing them, and she said, baby, there's only one thing for certain and two things. One thing for certain, I either got fired because of my last name, or two things for sure, I got fired politically for the cases I was working on. What are the big cases she was working on? Maxwell and Diddy. We already know what's happening with Jay Maxwell. It's very weird. We're keeping an eye on it. But please, the book's been released. That's very weird. But let's also not forget the Sean Diddy Combs. Now let's talk, right? Feelings over facts, right? The fact is, Diddy's own team said they were looking for a pardon. The fact is, there were multiple sources in the Rolling Stones and other by the lovely Cheyenne Browntree, who, by the way, just got married. She was a beautiful bride. Y'all should take a look at her Insta. Gorge, right? The whole point of the matter is that they were actively trying to seek a pardon. They were promising money. But you know Diddy, because he's the king of the bait and switch, he was like, no, you got to come through before I get this. You get this money. But if you can get me anywhere close, I will pay you this, that, and the third. Diddy's been actively. There were also, Trump even on the newscast said himself, well, if he's been treated unfairly, I'll look into it, which I think is why Diddy's team is trying to act like he's been treating him unfairly, because he has to live under the laws of the United States. But let's get into the Maureen Comey and the lawsuit and what this would mean. First of all, let me tell y'all a little bit about the lawsuit and why she actually is suing the Department of Justice. This has been verified. Maureen Comey is suing the DOJ over her firing. She said it was unlawful and unconstitutional. Now, some people say that if she can win this, and she can prove that she was taken off on certain cases, okay, this might have an effect on Diddy. Now, again, I don't know the logic behind that, because justice doesn't stop just because she's suing. I will say this. This shows that Maureen Comey's like, so I walk in the club and I'm ready to ball. What? I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared. What? I ain't never scared. And it shows that Judge Aaron is probably in the back bobbing along with her. What? We ain't never scared. Whatever type of muscle Diddy supporters think they're doing by bullying content creators, trying to silence, literally projecting, running fake narratives, doing everything they can to confuse the stupid, right? Which I don't know why they're trying so hard, because you don't got to do much. You don't got to do much. You don't got to do much, because if you are on Team Diddy, baby, you already lost the plot in my book, okay? But they are saying that they are trying to put this pressure and trying to just be on some thug-like bully stuff. I will say that I do think things flow from the top. And if Diddy supporters are on some bully, rah, I got the truth stuff, right? It makes me think it's coming from the top. But forget about that, right? Let's get into Maureen Comey. So anyway, so she says that Maureen, this is directly from Billboard, said Maureen Comey, the lead federal prosecutor at the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial, is suing the Trump administration over her unlawful and unconstitutional firing in July. Ooh, she said she was terminated shortly after the Diddy verdict as political payback because her father is one of President Donald Trump's most famous foes. She said the politically motivated termination of Ms. Comey upends bedrock principles of our democracy and justice system. Assistant United States attorneys like Ms. Comey must do their job without fearing or favoring any political party or perspective. Now, she's worked at the Manhattan U.S. office since 2015. That's like over a decade. She rose to prominence as one of the lead prosecutors in the sex trafficking case against Jizzy Maxwell. And she secured the guilty verdict and a 20-year prison sentence, okay? In December, she joined the team preparing to go to trial against Diddy, who faced charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution over allegations that he abused, threatened, and coerced women into partaking in drug-fueled sex parties. They said at Diddy's blockbuster trial in May, Comey often took center stage as the lead prosecutor on the case, questioning witnesses during the 2-month courtroom showdown. Again, the results in the case were mixed. It was very disappointing to me. I'm not going to argue with the jury's verdict. I do think they got it wrong, but at the end of the day, even though they largely acquitted Diddy, they convicted him of lesser prostitution charges, but again, lesser compared to RICO. Again, these are very, very serious charges he's doing, and Judge Aaron himself in the court documents has actually said this. Anyway, weeks after the Diddy verdict dropped, Comey was terminated by the Department of Justice without explanation. In a leaked memo, she said she had been fired without cause and urged her former colleagues to show righteous indignation at abuses of power. She said if a career prosecutor of 10 years, might I add, can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. Do not let that happen. Fear is a tool of the tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. In her lawsuit that just dropped, Maureen made those vague allegations more explicit. She said that she had been fired illegally because of who her father was. And that made Trump so mad during his first administration. And James Comey has become a persistent critic since Trump fired him in 2017. Now, let me just stop here because I'm old enough to remember Miss Comey. Her father was doing the most with Trump. And then Trump turned on him. But let's keep going. Ms. Comey's termination was designed to retaliate against her based on her familiar relation as a daughter of James B. Comey or because of her perceived political affiliation and beliefs, or both. No other plausible explanation exists for her termination, and certainly none was provided. She says she has consistently received outstanding reviews and glowing feedback from her superiors. She also says the move cannot be over her handling of the high-profile Jeffrey Epstein or Diddy cases, since she was the only prosecutor fired from those teams. Instead, her lawyers say she was fired for politics. They cited social media statements from conservative activist Laura Loomer, including one after news broke of her firing, saying, "This comes 2 months after my pressure campaign on Pam Bondi to fire James Comey's daughter and Comey's son-in-law from the DOJ." The lawsuit sheds more light on the exact lead-up to her termination, including that she was fired via email at 4:57 p.m. on July 16, a move that left her supervisors visually shocked and upset by the news. When she immediately met with the Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton, she says he offered little additional explanation. They said Ms. Comey asked for the basis of the termination. The U.S. Attorney Clayton responded in sum and substance, All I can say is it came from Washington. I can't tell you anything else. In technical terms, the lawsuit accuses the government of violating Comey's constitutional rights to free speech and due process, and breaching the constitutional separation of powers and violating civil service protections for federal employees. Yeah. How y'all think this is going to go? It sounds like she about to get money because she does have it. Now, here's the thing. When she got fired, a lot of people felt like there was a message being sent to not go so hard on Sean Combs, to have a chilling effect for those that were seeking some type of not justice, but after the prosecution lost, Comey and them made it clear they was going hard and they were going to ask for the maximum amount of time that's reasonable. I get the fact that Diddy won't get 20 years, most likely, right? However, the prosecution first recommended somewhere between 4 and 5 years, okay, for both charges. Then when at Diddy's last bail hearing, they said one of the reasons why, and this is in the court documents, one of the reasons why, I'm paraphrasing, one of the reasons why he should be denied bail is because they are now going to recommend significantly more time than they originally recommended, and that would make him a flight risk. Again, the connection between this Diddy, Maureen, Comey, listen, Diddy has been in the administration. There's been a whole bunch of leaks from sources close. Remember that source that came out and said that he was considering if Judge Aaron didn't give him bail, then he would pardon him immediately. But if he did give him bail, he would wait till sentencing. All this stuff. Again, it could have been planted by Diddy's team. It could have been planted by the morons that want to be down with Diddy's team and literally begging like a $2 ho 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 with their hand out because they need Diddy's team to pay their bills so they can eat. You know, it could have been any of that. The whole point of the matter is, something is going on. I have my ears to the ground. I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm going to get you what the streets are saying, but for now, just know that 3 weeks before Diddy's sentencing, Maureen Comey has come out and said, nah, I was sued because I was fired because of my dad and also because of the way I handled high profile cases, and you didn't like that politically. Y'all, listen, this story's developing. Let me go ask around and see if I can get like what some lawyers are saying or thinking. But this is something very, very interesting. And I want to see how Diddy's team actually reacts to this. Not the altered reality. They got their loser PR brigade on, and the little bottom feeder creators, because don't nobody with any type of anything that they worry about losing, nobody will stand behind besides Diddy. They can only get bottom feeders, right? But I am interested to see what Diddy's actual legal team, the ones that have things to lose and reputations and like money and education, I want to see how they're going to respond to this in their next filing. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye.